Can a green card holder re-enter the United States if their green card is already expired and if they did not apply for a re-entry permit? The answer is yes. Let me read you the law that we use all the time. Under the Matter of Kane, a lawful permanent resident who has traveled outside of the United States without applying for a re-entry permit is permitted to re-enter the United States, given that the temporary trip abroad has a specific purpose with a limited duration and the resident shows strong ties to the United States, evidenced by the filing of taxes, substantial property ties in the United States. So that case, decided in 1975, allows for somebody to come back without applying for re-entry permit. This, coupled by the CBP internal memo and their own training manual allowing people to re-enter even if their green card is expired, with both of those two combined, those were the two pillars in which we helped this mother re-enter the United States. Even though she left in 2019, she hasn't been back in like 5 years. Her green card expired, re-entry permit expired, but the CBP officer was able to understand the law and understand the facts and allow her in. Hi everyone, my name is Joseph. I'm the managing partner here at Tsang Associates, where we solve legal problems with creative solutions. So the legal problem in this case, you cannot ignore the fact that the United States has a rule and regulation to require people to apply for re-entry permits. But just because you don't have a re-entry permit or you're outside of that time period doesn't mean all hope is lost. The beautiful thing about the immigration system, about the power of CBP officers, is that it is discretionary in its nature. If you fall outside of the parameters, if you're able to explain it, potentially they will have grace and compassion and allow you in. So this is this case, this mother and wife of a U.S. citizen husband, a U.S. citizen child who's left the U.S. for 5 years with an expired green card, practically gave up hope, but these are the documents that we presented to get her back. We explained how her father passed away, how her mother was diagnosed and was hospitalized, and how her mother-in-law was also hospitalized, plus COVID. She needed to be out for 3-4 years, and then she couldn't get back in, and she couldn't get a flight to come back because her green card was expired. Then we moved on to proving why the U.S. is her home. We showed the re-entry permit that she applied for that expired. We showed all the tax returns. We showed the lease agreements. We showed the valid driver's license. We showed bank accounts and utility bills. And we showed the U.S. citizenship of her immediate family, along with other tangential ties to the U.S. We presented everything. I verbally explained it to the officer. We had everything in hand. We looked the officer in the eye, allowing them to make that discretionary call. The officer said, fine, but they have to pay the waiver. And I said, yes, glad to do that. And then the officer said, only once. And I said, we understand. COVID will probably never happen again. This was crazy. She had to fly all the way from China to Mexico in order for us to come in. You're doing us a huge favor. Thank you so much. The officer smiled. Case was approved. She got in. The entire process, probably around 2.5 hours, but her green card was saved. The family was so stressed this entire time, throughout this entire process, and it's understandable because maybe the wife and the mother will never be able to enter the United States again. And to apply for a green card again all over, it could take another 3+ years, minimum. But given the facts, given the situation, having gone down to Mexico multiple times to explain this case to the officer, we were pretty confident that this case would be approved. And so just want to share all the facts with you so you can compare as well, right? If you do have a U.S. citizen spouse, parent, child, it highly increases the chance of your case being approvable. Obviously, it is still very stressful. Obviously, the arguments are still kind of weak in certain respects, but we were able to put it together and the officer was able to be convinced and graciously extended the offer of doing the waiver. So hopefully that helps you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Take care. Bye-bye.